I'm striving to be a better person every day, and I want to be a person that my family can be proud of. Because once you bring a spotlight on it, the bullying and the trauma tends to find healing.
Convicted double murderers Erik and Lyle Menendez giving a rare interview from prison to their attorney, Mark Geragos, and TMZ's Harvey Levin. Geragos has represented the Menendez brothers in their quest to be resentenced for murdering their parents with shotguns back in 1989. Harvey covered the case back in the 90s.
The conversation is streaming now on the Two Angry Men podcast. Harvey joins us now. Good to have you. Congratulations on this get. You were struck most by the fact that these brothers seem so different to you now versus when you covered them in the 1990s.
Fundamentally different. I mean, they are different human beings. And, you know, I even said to them, I told them, look, yeah, they knew I covered the case. And I told them on the podcast that I viewed them as spoiled brats back then. And they acknowledged that they were. And Erik, you know, was talking about how he had a lot of trauma and insecurities, and the way they saw it, you could buy fancy clothes and expensive cars, and that could mask it all, and they now realize how hollow that is. So these guys, over the years, with absolutely no hope of getting out of prison until they died and were carried out, they decided to improve their lives, and they got a college education. They worked on a hospice program. They helped inmates who were suicidal. They helped inmates so that they wouldn't come back after committing crimes again. They created green spaces. They didn't, you know, I don't know that I would have done that if I knew that there was no end game for me getting out, but they did. And got to tell you guys, when the judge looks at this next week, based on the criteria, they check, I think, all of the boxes.
So you think they're going to get out?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what the judge's sensibilities on this are. I don't know what the new DA, Hochman, is going to do. He's been very non-committal about it. The prior DA wanted them out. I don't know what Hochman is going to do. But, you know, this is their shot. Yeah. And we will see what happens. It's been delayed. You know, it was supposed to happen in December, then January, then the fires happened. So now it's going to happen in March. And, you know, they are nervous, but they've got some optimism just because they had none for so many years.
Yeah, and there was so much attention on them a couple months ago when that Ryan Murphy Netflix show came out. Plus, there was a documentary on Netflix that did really well as well. What was their reaction to all that?
Well, it's interesting, Alex. Their initial reaction before they had seen anything was they didn't like it. But now they've seen a lot of it. They've seen it on YouTube. They've seen clips on TV. And they've reversed themselves. They think it's really important that people see it because part of the portrayal was showing what happened, you know, within the confines of that house on Elm Drive and at the hands of Jose. And they feel it was important for people to visualize that, and they're grateful that it was done.
You know, you talked about how they are changed men. What is your take on, there's a big slice of viewers, people out there who say, you know, this would set a precedent that we don't want if they are released because there's plenty of people who get abused, but they don't kill their parents.
Well, it's true. And there are people in my office who feel the exact same way. The fact is, there is a system for paroling people, and people can get paroled. My feeling about it is this. Yes, they committed that crime. It is horrendous, and they acknowledge it's horrendous. They've served 35 years. So there is a law in California where a judge can resentence if the defendant, if the convict is rehabilitated and does not pose a danger anymore to society. And I think it's undeniable on both counts that they meet those requirements. So if our system is only based on retribution, then they should never get out. But if there's any redemption in the prison system, if there's any place for it, and I sure hope there is, then you got to look at these guys and give them a fair shake.
Again, it is called the Two Angry Men podcast. Thank you, Harvey Levin and Mark Geragos, talking to the Menendez brothers in that latest podcast.
So